Something I really struggle with is feeling like I'm not living in the present moment. Oftentimes, it feels like I'm viewing the world through some sort of foggy lens, unable to convince my brain that what I see in front of me is real and that this is the moment I'm living in. Being on this road trip only heightened this struggle because I was entering unfamiliar places alone, and I had a hard time quieting all the anxious buzzing in my head. As per usual, I found myself trying to intellectualize my way into being present, which, spoiler alert, never ends with much success. I thought that there was some sort of code I had to crack, but no matter how hard I've tried to figure it out, I've always felt like I was missing something. I decided to journal beside the river to see if anything would come to me, and honestly, a bit surprisingly, ideas started pouring out onto the page. Here's an abridged version of what I wrote. Maybe my approach to all this is too complicated. Instead of trying to figure out how to be present, as if it's some sort of difficult action to perform, maybe we should think about it as inaction. To stop thinking you have to interpret the present as some intricate moment in the context of your complex past and a future that has yet to even exist. To not force yourself to feel a certain way or bend your reality to your own will. To be present is to be an empty vessel and let your surroundings move you, rather than you trying to control every little thing. With this in mind, the present moment is the simplest place you can be, because all you have to do is exist and be open. I recognize that this is easier said than done, and that there is also something to be said about why we struggle to feel present in the first place. The root cause is certainly worth considering on your journey to feel more connected to yourself and the world. But for me, this new mindset has helped me to see that maybe things don't always have to be as complicated as we think they are. Crazy as it seems, perhaps it doesn't serve me well to constantly ruminate about the past and every little step I took to get to this place in my life, because honestly, dude, I just want to be sitting in this forest, eating my dinner, and thinking about how beautiful the trees are. So why should I continue to believe that that is really so complicated? Oh, hey there. I'm at my second campsite of the trip. Didn't vlog yesterday, but I had a really great time just hanging out. This was like the first time I actually felt kind of relaxed on this trip, and partly because it's just so beautiful here. I didn't have any expectations for this place because it was a first come, first served campsite, and I didn't even know if I was going to get a spot. So my expectations were pretty low, and I didn't know really what it looked like either. So I just showed up and hoped for the best, and things turned out really well. There's like an adorable creek by the campsite that I took a little dip in yesterday, and it was super cold, but it was super nice. And now it's already heating up, and I have to head into town today. I'm about There's a lot of bugs here. I'm about 45 minutes outside of Portland, so I'm going to spend the day out there. I
don't have any plans. I don't know what I'm going to do in the city, but I just want to explore it because I want to acquaint myself with the area a bit more. Anyways, I need to finish packing up the campsite. I'm almost done, but I just wanted to do a little check-in before I headed out. So I will see you soon. I don't know how much I'm going to film in the city, probably just a couple clips on my phone, but I will check in with you very soon. But before I head out, this is the campground. It's so cute. And this tree is fucking amazing with all the moss. Anyways, yes, I did get a selfie stick / tripod. It's fun, and you can get some crazy angles. So don't be a hater. Like, literally look at this. That is so sick. Anyways, I will see you guys soon. Hello. Welcome back. Okay. It's getting kind of dark now, but I just wanted to explain with words in person how excited I am that I found this place. It's not a real campsite, but I pulled over on the side of the road and it goes down to this gorgeous river. And I'm just absolutely so excited that I nabbed this place because it's actually listed on iOverlander, which honestly has been such a huge help trying to find places to stay on this trip. And I wanted to stay somewhere along this river. This is near Lake Quinault. And if you just keep driving past the lake, there's this super pothole-filled gravel road that just takes you on a loop around the lake and the river. But yeah, I did not have iOverlander pulled up on my phone. I just kind of was just driving along, hoping to recognize a space that I saw on there. And I was losing hope. I was getting to the end of the road and I was like, I knew there was this place that pulled off to the river, but I don't know exactly where it was. I must have missed it. I don't know. But right as I got to the bridge, which is the turnaround, the driveway appeared magically. It was about 5 or 6 p.m. and I was like, someone's got to be there at this point. But it was empty, so I backed in, and here we are. I've been here for a few hours, and it's just so fucking magical. Honestly, I am still on paranoia mode because this is my first time doing actual wild camping. And well, I mean, is it really wild if I'm on the side of the road? I don't know. But there's no service. I'm alone. There's no one around me, which I'm never sure if being around other people makes me feel safer or more unsafe. You know what I mean? Because it's If I'm completely alone, no one's around to hurt me. But if there's no one around and like one person does show up, like there's no hope. Anyways, that's just me being paranoid because I feel like it's a healthy amount of paranoia. I'm just a girl in the world, alone in the forest, in a state that I have only been in one time in my life. So I'm hoping that I survive the night, as I have been hoping pretty much every night. Except for last night, I was staying with family in Portland, which was really nice. It was a good, safe break from the anxiety of sleeping in my car alone. Oh, and then the other thing that was kind of sussing me out by just being here is every now and then cars will drive by, like over the bridge. And there were a couple people that I know were actually scoping out this spot like I was. And at one point, this guy even I think he was in a van and he must have been with somebody else, but he got out of the van and walked all the way down the driveway to come check out the river. Like he saw my car, I'm sure, but he just kept walking. And I was actually inside my car at the time, escaping from the mosquitoes. He didn't look sketchy. He kind of just looked like a guy that travels in a van in like a gentrified van life kind of way. Like he had long hair and a mustache. So you know the vibe. I do forget that the sketchiness goes both ways. That my car also is like kind of not sketchy necessarily, but like so clean slate that you wouldn't know either way if it was a creepy old man or just a girl being afraid and paranoid. Yeah, you wouldn't know until you saw me. So we made eye contact through my window and I just gave a little wave. And then he waved back and then walked back to his car. Yeah, it's starting to get dark and I have a couple more things I need to do to get ready before I tuck in for the night. And I have an early start tomorrow. I'm headed to the Hoh Rainforest. Hoh as in Hoh. So it's going to take a couple hours for me to get there in the morning and they get really bad traffic. So I'm going to head out probably earlier than I usually have been. I don't know. My sleep schedule's been really weird. I'm tired, but it's also like the adrenaline is keeping me going on the nights that I don't get enough sleep, which is good because we're doing a lot of driving here. So, and there's also a ton of mosquitoes, so I need to hide in my car pretty soon. Okay, I need to go inside. I will talk to you guys soon.
I did indeed get an early start the next morning and headed out to the Hoh Rainforest. This place is actually one of the main reasons why I wanted to go on this road trip in the first place, so I couldn't help but place some kind of higher expectation on this day to be one of my favorites of the trip. But I happen to be coming here on a Saturday in June. If you've been here before or you're a local, you may know that it's quite a popular spot to go, and despite me getting there before peak traffic times, I still waited probably around 45 minutes just to get in the front gate, and the trails were pretty packed by the time I got there, which I was able to cut out by filming a million clips of moss up close. This place is actually known for its moss, and I love moss, so I was pretty stoked. Despite feeling a little bit overwhelmed by all the people, I was still able to be so struck by the natural beauty of this place. I also felt that prickling awareness of being a human invading a natural space, and I felt a sense of guilt that I was contributing to the tourism here. They have a picture at the trailheads that shows what the trails looked like even 10 years ago versus now, and you can definitely see the environmental impact so much foot traffic has had on this forest. It's not necessarily my belief that humans should leave places like this completely alone,
We always talk about reconnecting with nature and how important that is to the human soul. But I also think it's wrong to separate the idea of what we associate with the word nature and places that have been built upon, like big cities. It's all on Earth. It's all nature. And we should be treating every place in the world better, not just a select few places. While I was having these deep feelings out here in the rainforest, I started to feel the weariness of the trip so far start to catch up with me, so I set up camp at my reserved campsite in the park. So I'm at my campsite in the Hoh Rainforest, and I'm so tired. I'm just hitting a wall right now. And it's kind of bumming me out because I have this mindset that I just want to like go and like do as much as possible because I'm all the way out here. I feel like I need to take advantage of like all the time that I have, because it's been just such a long drive to get up here. I want to make it worth it, obviously, but I'm just so exhausted, and I think I need to just like chill for the rest of the day. It's already like 5 o'clock, but the sun doesn't set until like literally after 9 o'clock up here, which is so crazy. But yeah, it started raining, which it's a rainforest. um, so that makes sense, but I don't know. I didn't think it was gonna actually rain for some reason. I'm just stupid, I guess. So yeah, it started like sprinkling a little bit. It's really not like a torrential downpour or anything, but it definitely is putting me into like a cozy mode. Like when it rains and it's cloudy, you just want to like snuggle up. So that's me right now, in addition to eating a whole box of mac and cheese for lunch and then hiking like 7 miles with a insanely heavy backpack. Yeah, that took it out of me, and I need to just chill for the rest of the day. I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to make dinner, to be honest, like with the camping stove, because if it rains, can't really use it outside. And I don't have a cover. And I'm looking at around at like all the other campsites, all the other campers, and everyone has one of those big tent things. And I'm like, y'all were prepared. I was not. But it's okay because I have my car that I'll be sleeping in anyways, so it doesn't really matter. But I feel kind of weird like being out here in this beautiful area, just sitting in my car. It seems kind of lame. Like I want to be outside, but I don't really want to sit in the rain, you know? I mean, I I like that, but I don't want to sit outside and like read a book, or like do my crochet in the rain. That doesn't really work. So but I don't even know if I have the strength right now to focus on an activity. And I honestly almost fell asleep multiple times today already, either sitting in my car or when I was eating my macaroni in the camping chair outside before it started raining. I was just like clutching the clutching the bowl with my head like this. And yeah, I was like, man, I gotta get up. So I got up and started going on another hike, and I was like, I can't do this. So I came back to the campsite, and I think that's okay. I need to take care of myself, I'm not even halfway through the journey. So if my body needs rest, she gets rest. I think that's the healthy thing to do here. So I think that's it for me for today. I do want to film a couple more things here. But I don't know if I have the strength today. I might have to get up early and do it in the morning. So I may do a super early night, like honestly, before the sun even sets. I may have to call it quits for the day and then just get up early. But yeah, I have a lot of driving to do tomorrow, so I should probably get some good rest. And I'm going to Forks, Washington tomorrow, which the little geek inside of me is very excited about. I know it's probably not a lot to get excited about because I was looking at it on Google Maps, and I was also realizing that most of the locations that they use to film Twilight aren't even in Forks. They're like in Oregon and stuff. So it might be a little bit underwhelming, but I'll just be excited to be driving through and getting gas in Forks, Washington. So I'm going to close it out for the day, and I will see you soon. Yes. After filming that vlog, I admittedly had a bit of a breakdown in the backseat of my car. My tiredness was getting to me, and being around so many people that day and seeing that everyone in the campsites around me were families and couples having great times together, the loneliness crept in. I did honestly expect this to happen at some point during the trip, as much as I hoped it wouldn't. Now, I'm the biggest advocate for being comfortable with being alone. I've spent so much time working on myself in this way, and I'm content with being alone. In fact, I love being alone. If being alone terrified me, I would not be here doing this trip and making this video. But I think with this desire and honestly societal pressure to be self-sufficient, there's also the danger of hyper-independence, which is a trap that is easily fallen into when you're taught to think that in order to find self-worth, you have to do it all yourself, to not have to ask for help. It makes me think of the American mentality of every man for himself, and that we're led to believe we gain the most respect when we do things independently, which is so fucked up. Because with the way that our society is actually built, you literally can't do everything by yourself. The simple fact is that human beings are dependent creatures in many, many ways. And I know that when people say we should be comfortable with being alone, that doesn't necessarily mean we have to start growing our own food in an off-grid cabin, but I think it does put pressure on us in ways to feel like we need to be able to live in some fairly extreme realm of independence. That asking for help is a sign of weakness or inability. So what does all this have to do with loneliness? I think it all boils down to lack of community. We should never feel guilty for wanting community, for relying on it. I often feel lonely because in my desire to be self-sufficient, or even just enjoy my alone time, I find myself straying down the path of hyper-independence, and I end up in situations where I'm basically self-imposing my own isolation because of the fear of being perceived as incapable or needy, when honestly, I think that the best thing about being human is connecting to other humans. I think I've reached the point in my own personal journey of being okay alone where I want to not be so alone all the time. As awesome as doing things on your own can be, having someone to share experiences with, to echo or playfully challenge your thoughts and feelings, adds a whole different layer to how we experience life. Neither is necessarily better than the other, they're just different ways to experience things. I figure that a lot of people won't necessarily relate to what I'm going through if they're a part of very tight-knit communities or have strong relationships with other people. But I know that isolation, or the feeling of being isolated even amongst other people, is a big thing that a lot of us are facing more than ever. But if you do resonate with this, then I want you to know that you are not, and will never be, existentially alone. You may find yourself, like me, alone on a road trip in the middle of the woods, but there will always be people who are feeling the same things that you are. In times like these, I find comfort in that thought, and I hope you do too. So, I hope you take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next and final episode of this series.